She is a financial planner and advisor.
She's the founder and president of Zinnia Wealth Management. She's also a popular radio show host.
There's a way to have your money in the market and have protected growth.
This holistic approach will help people get to and through retirement.
Absolutely.
You have to change the way that you think. It's not about having these double-digit returns anymore. Things are changing, and you have to have an advisor that's keeping up with the changes.
Your outcome is going to become very desirable if you have some sort of coach helping you along the way.
And our next recipient for the Media and Communications XP, Charisse.
Charisse Rivers.
Do not have to risk all your money in the market to survive, because it's about the retirement dream.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Facebook Live 3:30 edition every Thursday. I'm your host, Charisse Rivers, and this is Retirement Coffee Talk Facebook Live, home of Zinnia Wealth Management. I want to let everybody know today, starting next week and forever and ever until I decide to stop doing this, hopefully that will be never, we're going to start doing Facebook Live on Wednesday at 3:30. So it's kind of midweek, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I hope you guys, it fits your schedule. If not, you can always watch this later at your own time. It could be midnight because we always repost it and it stays here live. Okay, so if you haven't been watching, this is your first time, my job is to educate you, inspire you, and get you to retirement and beyond. And as we go through week after week, we're going to talk about people in retirement, people getting ready for retirement, some tips. We're going to educate you. Excuse me. But the pregame today is talk a little bit about market shop talk. Okay, what's going on in Central Florida and the government and the stimulus package. Then we're going to do our trivia. Remember, I asked 4 questions. 2 questions are from the week prior, right? And there's a fun one and one that gets to know Charisse. If you get all 4 right, we are sending a donation to your church or charity of choice. So nobody's gotten all 4 of them right. Last week, we didn't get them all 4 right once again. So I'm upping the ante. Normally, you have to answer it by the end of the show. I'll make a deal. You have to answer it by midnight Sunday. So you have a couple of days to get this done, okay? And I'm going to assume we're going to get a lot of winners. So I'm going to pick the top 3 winners, the top 2 winners, and then anybody who comes behind, we're going to draw your name out of a little basket, okay? So I expect some serious winners. And on top of that, I'm upping the ante dollar-wise. I'm giving for the first 2 winners, they get all 4 questions right, $200 to go to them because I haven't written a check in, I think, 4 weeks. So we have more money to give, so let's just do it right. So remember, you have to put the answers in the box, the text box. You can't email them to me, any other option, message them to me, put them in the text box. And that's how we do it. You have till Sunday at midnight. Okay, guys, let's get started. So the market's been a good day, been a good week this week, hasn't it? It started off a little choppy on Tuesday, but all of the earnings calls that we're in earnings seasons, and some companies doing well, some companies aren't doing well, which is interesting. So last week, this time, I would say 5 days ago, basically, the Dow Jones was down 1,000 points from today. So we're having some elevation. I can breathe. You probably feel better. We just hope it keeps going. There's no guarantees. We don't have a crystal ball, but it's all based on, we're getting closer to a stimulus package and funding. The vaccines, we're having some luck with some vaccines and what's taking place there. And it's creating confidence in the consumer. And that creates not a whole lot of wobble in Wall Street. So it's slowly making its way up. So I'm super excited. Let's just pray, cross our fingers, hope, all the above, that it keeps going. That would just be a wonderful thing. And unemployment was so much better. It's been 1 million filings every week, week after week. We had 249 filings, 249,000 filings. So that is very positive. Less people filing, a few more people going back to work. Inch by inch, we will get there. It might take us some time, but we'll get there. Interesting thing, on Tuesday, the earnings call for Disney World said they lost, let me get the right number, $5 billion during the pandemic, right? The stock was at $117. Here's the crazy thing. The very next day in the morning, it jumped from $117 to $127. This is the oddest and most unpredictable time when it comes to investing, because why does a stock jump from 117 to 127 overnight after they already claimed a $5 billion loss? Well, I think there's a lot of hope involved, A lot of things came out Tuesday night and Wednesday morning that bumped it up. And they're selling a lot of those Disney prescriptions. Like Disney is a drug. Well, they kind of are, actually. Subscriptions. Anybody? I still have not gotten it where you get to watch cartoons and movies, all these updating things. I told my daughter the other day, should I get this? She's like, absolutely, Mom. So we're going to get it. And so that really helped Disney for a while here, but that's still $5 billion is a big loss. Let's talk about Jim Cramer, you know, that crazy guy on Squawk Walk CNBC at night. Well, he said 6 to his COVID pick winners, and one of them was education technology firm called Chegg. I do like the company. It's online learning. And so if schools didn't open, I might have used that as a resource. Pet store, Chewy, lovely. People are ordering from there like crazy. And one fitness piece of equipment, Peloton. They were going down in the dumps a year ago. I was worried that they were going out of business. But all because of COVID, guess what happens? Anything can happen. You know, a Hail Mary can happen. And for Peloton, this worked for them because people weren't going to gyms. They're like, well, I'm going to be working out at home for a while, so I might as well order it. I'm telling you, fitness equipment is busting a move and going up. So who would have known? I do tell people all the time, don't take life lightly. Anything could change instantly. We might think we have it all figured out, and then this happens, which is unpredictable. So always make sure you have a backup plan, no matter what happens in the stock market, as I tell all the people who are finally retired and taking money out of the retirement accounts, because you do not want to pull money out of your retirement accounts when the market's going down and you lost money. That is the worst thing. It's a cardinal sin. We call that a sequence of return risk. That does not happen until the day you've retired and start living off your money. So remember that. If you're still doing that, we need to talk. Remember, come to me for a second opinion. You can go to zinniawealth.com. There's a little, you scroll down, there is a link. You can schedule a 15-minute conference call with us absolutely for free. Okay, talk about struggles and that kind of stuff and going back to school. Colleges have like cut all costs. They're doing everything and they're at their brink and their bottom line at this point, so they don't have to fire professors. So there's a lot happening with these colleges. Let's pray and hope that the best comes of it and everybody kind of starts to get on the wagon again, right? All right, Trump news. Oh, I don't know. With all this craziness going on, something really neat that took place. President Trump signed the Great American Outdoor Act Tuesday. It's been called the most significant conservation bill in generations, and it secures funding for the next 100 years to preserve our national and public land. So didn't think that was a huge deal right now, considering what's going on in our lives and this new world we're living in. But hey, a great thing. We need to preserve as much as we can, which I am a big fan of. Okay, number 2. Talk about evictions. I read this. I was a little shocked. Trump said on Monday he was considering taking executive action to halt evictions and suspend payroll taxes. What are your thoughts on that? Hey, remember, you guys can chime in and comment and ask questions and all. I have Mike behind the scenes to let me know if there's a question. I know I answer a lot of them as I go, but, you know, tell me what your thoughts are. Give me a thumbs up if you think, hey, you know what, this is a good thing, or a thumbs down if you think it's not. So halting evictions. I know it's going to hurt probably the people who are renting these homes that need that income, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, next on the block, TikTok. Does anybody know this thing about TikTok? Okay, let me just read what's happening. I'm going to explain what it means. It says China-owned video app. It's a video app on your phone called TikTok. It's becoming an issue because American companies are trying to acquire this app. If it doesn't get acquired by an American company, Donald Trump sounds like he's going to ban it. And I've got to tell you, this TikTok app is all the rage right now. These kids put it on mom's phone, and they put it on their own phones, and they create these really cool videos. And so my daughter, she is begging me for 6 months to let her have it. I said, no way. Put it on somebody else's phone, because there's some antitrust issues on that app. So be very careful with it. But I think if it becomes American owned, it might be better. Who really knows with all these apps? But the TikTok, they can take a video, they can press rewind. It's really creative, and it actually helps kids manage money and different other things. So there are some positive aspects to it. Okay, next on the line, Governor DeSantis, basically he came out this week and said these COVID test results are, quote unquote, useless. He said we cannot get them back fast enough, and it's taking way too much time. Why even bother? I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, even if it takes 3 to 5 days, I think we still need to bother with that. So that's all he had to say this week. So we'll leave him alone for now. Let's talk about North and Central Florida. Okay, you Ocalians, guess what? We now have to wear masks if you are in the city of Ocala. Luckily, I'm a half a mile from the city, my office. So my office, I do not have to wear a mask. I was very nervous about it because I don't do good with masks for a long period of time. If I'm talking to a client with a mask all day long, it's not going to go well. So basically, city of Ocala, you have to wear these masks when you're going in and out of places. If you're walking around Target or Publix or whatever, they do say if you sit down, you can take them off. So that's positive. And I just say if you come to my office, you don't have to wear them, but you can if you'd like. Next thing, let's just say back to school sales tax holiday starts Friday. Remember, back to school. We want to save as much money on those taxes, so it starts Friday. So don't forget to go out there and do that. Did anybody see the SpaceX NASA news, land in the water? I thought that was so cool. Do you know how long it's been since we've done that? They said the splashdown. It's the first splashdown for 45 years. It is about time. We need to go out there and see what's out there in space, right? Let's spend more money. Okay, that's all we have for really Central Florida news, and we will move on. It is time for trivia. Ready, set, go. Okay, so here we go. You have till Sunday to answer these questions. Okay, so I'm extending it. I help people, and the first 2 questions come from last week's show, so you could go back and watch last week's show on Facebook, and then there's 2 fun questions. Now, you have till Sunday at midnight, and I've upped the ante. I'm picking 2 winners. The first 2 winners that come in will get $200 to their church or charity. The third winner to come in, and you have to get all 4 of them right, we're going to pick out of a hat, okay, because I could get 20 of y'all. And so if there's 20 winners, first 2 in, get it. The third and beyond, we'll put you in a hat and we'll draw you. And we'll tell you who the winners are next week. So I have checks I'm ready to write to donate to charities or churches. So answer these questions. It's supposed to be fun, remember? Okay, here we go. No winners from last week, so I'm not going to go over the questions. So first question this week. It says, from Zinnia U segment last week, I said that you can gift the money as part of your spend down strategy in order to qualify for Medicaid. But how long is the look back period? Is it 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, or there's no limit? Okay. Number 2 question from last week's Zinnia U segment. Which of the following is not one of the countable assets included in your Medicaid spend down? Is it cash, retirement accounts, primary home, or mutual funds? And so those answers on last week's show, if you don't remember. And we really talked about long-term care and who's going to need it and how the Medicaid spend down works if you run out of money and you spend all your money on the care and what's left for the spouse. So if you want to tune back into that one, you can. Okay, question 3. This is the fun one. This one always gets everybody. Not everybody, though. What was the name of Madonna's first album? All right, ladies. Was it A, Like a Prayer, B, Madonna, C, Like a Virgin, or D, True Blue? This one actually got me too. So good luck with that one. Number 4 and last question. What was the first concert Charisse ever attended? This one's going to be hard. Is it Aerosmith, Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, or Kiss? I'm going to give you a little hint. When I was in college, I went to this concert. The week before I went to this concert, I was on Fear Factor. I was on the television show Fear Factor back in 2004. So there was a band doing a lot of traveling back then. If you can figure it out, maybe that will help. So, or it just really confused you more. Anyways, how I went to that concert, some of you might know this answer, is I was in Gainesville, and I had called in to put my name in for this concert, and they were going to pull it out of the bag after months of advertising for it, and I won. And so the radio station in Gainesville paid for me to go overnight and everything. So if you know me well enough, you might be able to get this answer. Okay, enough about trivia. Let's move on to Zinnia U. This is about you, education, and we want to pour out as much as we can in a short amount of time. Remember, this Facebook Live is only a half hour, so I'm trying to get as much out as I can. What I tell you, there's so much more than what we're telling you. You can go to zinniawealth.com, go to the Education Center, download Social Security guides. We are going to be talking about Social Security some tips and how to maximize it. I think I forgot to tell you that earlier on, but that's what we're going to talk about now. And don't forget, you can download the Social Security Guide on our website. So let's just start with the basics. I know Social Security Trust Fund, a lot of you think there isn't one. And a lot of you think it's going to run out. And nobody really knows. I do know this. The Social Security Trust Fund, as of last year, said there was 3 people working for 1 person collecting. Back in the day when this all started, there was like 30 people working for 1 person collecting. So we're a great generation did a great job having 9 to 12 kids, and the baby boomers, you did all right. You had 3 to 4. And now this new generation, we're having 1 to 2. So there's less people being created on our planet. But I will tell you this. 3 people working for 1 person collecting. The year of 2020, I've been talking about this for 2 years now, that there was going to be 1 person collecting for 1 person working. So it was a 1-in-1 ratio, not a 3-in-1 ratio. So that means they would have to pull money out of the trust fund to pay for the gap for the benefits, because they were having 3 people work for 1 person collect, and they were taking interest off the non-marketable securities in the trust fund. And that was enough to cover the gap. Well, last year, they said 2020, since there's less people working for all the people collecting, because remember, there's 10,000 baby boomers retiring every day for the next, I think, 9 years. It's ridiculous. And so that's a lot of people collecting Social Security. And they said they were going to have to start liquidating these non-marketable securities to pay for the difference. And I don't even know how you liquidate non-marketable securities. That's not how it works, but the government will always find a way. But I was really nervous because I thought the crash and there was going to be some market volatility in 2020 because of Social Security. But I was wrong. I admitted I was wrong. It was the COVID. Who knew something like that could do what it has done? Not only has it done what it's done, we still have a Social Security problem. And the reason why is we have less people working by the droves, millions of people not working. So you think we had a problem before? How do you think it sits right now with less people working? So that means we are negative. There's negative amount of people for each person collecting Social Security. I'm very curious to see what happens in 2020 and 2022 with Social Security, what they're going to cut, what they're going to do. I do know that they're probably going to stop kicking the can down the road and ignoring it. I think they're going to start making some moves. And let's just hope they don't start cutting benefits. Unfortunately, it's a possibility. I don't think they will. But again, who really knows what the government's going to do? So be on the sidelines for that. I wanted to inform you and let you know how that works. So next year could be a year to reckon with. And hopefully well, we won't talk about politics. We'll skip on. Okay, so let's talk about when you can collect. You can collect as early as 62 or as late as age 70. Your full retirement age is between 66 and 67, though, okay? So if you collect at age 62, you're not getting all the benefits that you should get. You're getting some of them. And so if you wait till 66 or 67, it's called your FRS, full retirement age. And then guess what happens? Well, when that happens, oh, I'm going to put this on pause, you guys. I think we had a technical error. All right. We haven't ever had this happen. Give me 1 second. Oh, there's always time for technical errors. All right. Make sure you guys can see me. Can everybody see me all right? Okay. I got to lift this up a little bit, though. I can't see myself. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. We had our first technical error in the 16 weeks we have been doing this. So, okay, now I gotta get back on track. Oh yeah, Social Security. 62, full retirement age to 66, 67. If you wait till full retirement age from 66 to 67, you get 100% of the benefits that you have worked so hard for. So why are we taking it at 62? And the reason is people are worried that Social Security is not going to be here. Or maybe you had a father or a mom or a grandparent that did it, and you just think, well, shoot, I should take it because that's when my family took it. But you need to strategize now because it might be valuable to wait till 66 or 67. Here's one other strategy. Why wouldn't you wait till age 70? From the ages of 66 to 67, if you do not collect and you wait to age 70, do you know they will compound 8% every year for the next 3 to 4 years until you turn 70? That's a guarantee that even a financial advisor can't even give you on your income. Guaranteed, plus cost of living. So if cost of living goes up 2%, that's 10% a year. That could take your Social Security benefit from 100% to 132%. Is it worth it? Well, once upon a time, I would say yes. I'm a little nervous about all this unemployment and trying to get back on the wagon here again. And I'm now strategizing a little bit differently. I'm not recommending people wait till 70 now, just because Social Security is going to be pretty stressed out here soon. And so some people were advising taking it at 62, or maybe wait till 64. And or maybe one of you take it at 62 and one of you take it at 67. So we're coming up with some strategies. We're changing it. We evolve with the changes as we get hit with them, because the economic cycle goes like this. It's the roller coaster. It goes up and down, and you got to really figure it out as you go. So when to take it, there's no cookie cutter strategy. We do a Social Security maximizer. We use our software. It helps you figure out what are my taxes on Social Security, when's the most optimal time to take it. Doesn't mean you have to follow those rules. It's just kind of giving you some really, really great information. So how do you file? There are a couple ways. You can go to ssa.gov. You can file that way. You can file for spouse, Medicare, disability, or your retirement benefits. And so that's one way. You can also call the 800 number, 800-772-1213. So that was 800-772-1213. And you can call them. They're open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., right? Really, the best times to call is right around lunchtime, in my opinion, toward the afternoon. I learned that. And when you call in, just hit 0 like 20 times. And I'm telling you, it's a fast way to get through. I'm giving you a really good clue here. And the third way to file is you call them and you make an appointment and you go in and see them. Or you can make an appointment and they'll just call you back, and you can do it in the comfort of your own home. So, and you can walk down to the Social Security Department and just wait in line for a couple hours, like a lot of people do. So that's how you can file. Going online is super easy. But if you do that, I'm going to give you some tips. Make sure if you are married, you have your spouse's Social Security number, their date of birth, when you were married. So they're going to want that marriage certificate. If you're divorced, pull out the divorce decree. They want to know the year you were divorced, also date of birth and Social Security of the ex-spouse too. I'm going to tell you why in a minute, because there's a little bit of a strategy here that you can use. So here's the rule of thumb. I just spoke to somebody in my office just yesterday, and I should have corrected them, and I didn't. And I apologize if you're watching today, but I hate correcting people sometimes because they were so close. So how do you qualify for Social Security? You have to work for 10 years, okay? And that's 40 credit hours. So if you work 10 years, 40 credit hours, you qualify for Social Security. And what they do is they calculate your Social Security based on 35 years. So if you happen to work 32 years, they're going to give you a 0 for year 33, 34, and 35. And they do a calculation. So you want to make sure you have no zeros in those years. And if you look at your Social Security statement, look at it. If you have 0 on a year you were working and they wasn't there, you need to call your old employer and tell them to file that, pull it out of whatever the woodworks to find it. But you don't want a 0. And I do encourage people, there's a lot of Social Security scams out there. I don't care how old you are. Go to socialsecurity.gov, create a login and password. There are people that are claiming your Social Security benefits and changing your address on the site, because they're creating these logins on the Social Security site and having checks sent to them. So be very careful. Lots of scams. So just go ahead and get it set up. And I promise you, this is the one headache you're going to go through. It's going to ask you 5 questions, and you're barely going to remember 2 of the 5. And so it might lock you out for 24 hours. Just try it again. 24 hours, just try it again. It's aggravating, but it is worth it now to know, to make sure you don't have any zeros in those years. Okay. Alrighty. Let's just see. I think that was the first part of our conversation. Also, when you go to Social Security, make sure you have a voided check, or if you're talking to them on the phone, they're going to want your bank account routing number. So they can already start working on that EFT to get money into that account. Okay. Oh, lastly, this was new. I didn't know this. It says the last 2 years, if you're self-employed, if you work for somebody, they want to see your start and stop dates for the past 2 years and the net income from that as well. So that's new to me. I had no clue about that, which is very, very interesting. Okay, so let's talk about tips to maximize your Social Security. And this is really our last piece about Social Security. If you have any questions, put them in there. Mike said I'm doing a good job answering them, so I appreciate that, Mike. And so let's start with the first one. You already know work 35 years. So if you work 30, it might be worth working 5 more years so you can have a little bit more, right? If you're saying, Charisse, I don't want to work another 5 years, and okay, just know that there's a difference, okay? You can increase your earnings, so ask for a raise. The higher earnings you get, the higher Social Security you're going to get, right? But I'm going to tell you, in 2019, earnings were up to $132,900 to calculate your retirement benefits. I'm going to tell you this. So somebody like Bill Gates, who makes probably, I'll just be super low number here, a net income, let's say a gross income of $2 million. He doesn't have to pay into Social Security till after, when it gets to $132,000, somewhere around that number, don't mark my words. But so the rest, he doesn't have to pay into Social Security. So if your income is under, that's what you're paying Social Security on. And so the wealthy people, they don't pay on Social Security taxes on that afterwards, which is really interesting. They're talking about raising that, and they actually do raise it a little bit every year. I really think that's one of the changes that they need to do. They need to raise that astronomically. Let's for, the wealthy people, let's raise it to 200,000, right? If you make over $1 million, if you make over 2 million, raise it to 500,000. They need to come up with a plan to help cover Social Security and the people who are already covered. Lastly, work until full retirement age. So I was just reading this pretty basic information. If you want more dollars from your Social Security check, work till full retirement age. We just said it was 66 to 67 years old. You get a nice cut if you take it at 62. So it might be worth working. Let me add to this. If you collect Social Security at 62, you are likely now going to be paying taxes on your Social Security. It's called Social Security Provisional Income Formula. I'll go over that in a minute. And also, if you are working and collecting Social Security at 62, you can only make a certain amount every year. And they figure it out over 12 months. It's divided. So if it's over, I don't know, somewhere around $15,000 that you make a year at your job, they're going to go back and take $1 out of every $2 that you're pulling from Social Security. So you shouldn't even have taken it anyways, right? So your check could be not $1,500, but maybe $500 from Social Security. So what's the point? I will encourage this. If you do work and you make more than that threshold that they're talking about, that $15,000 and change, this is what I say. There's something called Senior Citizen Freedom to Work Act. And what that says, it says when you finally hit full retirement age, 66 and 67, if you collected Social Security early and you had to work and make more money, they will give you back all that money they pull out of Social Security every month, but they give it back based on your life expectancy. So if it's 87 years old, you just get a little piece back from 67 to 85. So remember that they will give it back, but if you pass away, nobody gets a dime, which is unfair, right? You worked hard for your money, nobody gets it. That is our system as you know it. Okay, we also said delay claiming Social Security till age 70. Remember, you get 7% compounding every year. It could be very valuable, but I'm really curious. I'm nervous about Social Security, so that'll be something I keep my eye on very closely on if that is still the best strategy. And one of my favorites, you can claim spousal payments. What that means is demographically, ladies, I know you want to hear this, especially if it was the opposite, but women are taking care of their children. They're in and out of the workforce, right? And so historically, men had a higher earnings and women had less, right? Because you didn't stay in the job long enough where you could earn those salaries and those pensions. So unfortunately, you get paid less on Social Security. So I love this. You can claim between 35 to 50% of your spouse's benefit, depending on your age. So let's just say your husband's full retirement age is 67 and you're 62. Well, at age 62, you're allowed to collect 35% of whatever your husband would be collecting there at 67, right? So let's just say you were only collecting 500 and your husband's supposed to collect 2,000. Well, you can collect 35% of that, right? Here's a really cool thing. This might be very valuable for you guys. So listen up here, okay? If Mrs. is 66 and that's your full retirement age, and Mr. is also 66 or 67 full retirement age, Mrs. can draw up to 50% of his benefit. So like I said, if he was supposed to get $2,000 a month, the Mrs. can get $1,000. It's $3,000 coming into the household, right? And if Mrs. originally could only claim and get $500 on her own, why would you take your own? You just take your husband's. He doesn't get a penalty, right? So use some of these benefits. And I'm going to tell you, if Mrs. already claimed and Mr. claimed later, Social Security isn't going to call you back and say, oh, by the way, you can get a bump up of income. You have to call Social Security and say, hey, my husband just started claiming. and I would like to bump my Social Security. So again, Social Security Maximizer, this is something that we talk about every day with our clients when they come and see us. So remember that. Now, let's just say you were married for 10 years and then you got divorced, 10 years and 1 day, but you never married again. You can claim off your ex-spouse's Social Security, okay, whoever it is. If you were at full retirement age and you were getting a $1,000 check, but your ex-spouse at full retirement is getting $2,000, guess what? Or let's just say they're getting $3,000 and you were going to get $1,000. Well, you can claim up to 50%, and so you get $1,500. So it's worth. Make sure you have those old documents because you get a call. The ex-spouse does not even need to know you're doing this, and the ex-spouse still gets their $3,000. They still get their benefits. You're just claiming on top. So I think it's a nice benefit the government gives for people that, didn't have the higher earnings or, got divorced, didn't ever get remarried again. But that's the rule. The rule is you have to be married 10 years and never been remarried again. Now, let's just say this person remarried. You could claim off the new spouse's that Social Security benefit, right? But you have to be married for 1 year. I think they said they were changing it to 2 years, but I'm pretty sure it's still 1 year. Then you can claim off the new spouse's Social Security. So again, I am talking about a lot. I hope I haven't confused anybody. I hope this has been helpful because there's a lot to it. Because there's another piece of this. It's called widows and widowers benefits. There are actually still strategies out there. There's no more strategies for anybody else, but for widows and widowers, there are still strategies for you to maximize your benefits. So I highly recommend you use them. And I will let you know if somebody passes away, you can claim benefits at age 60. You don't have to wait till 62. And the beauty of that is that if you do that, then maybe you don't claim yours till later. You get 8% compounding. You claim yours at age 70. Some strategies to start thinking about. Last but not least, we are going to talk about provisional income. 90% of retirees will pay up to 85% in Social Security taxes. Okay, so let me give you a quick math equation. Provisional income formula, most people don't even know about, don't even pay attention to it until they get their tax bill. And it says your modified adjusted gross income plus half of your Social Security plus any muni interest, anything like that, they're going to put that towards this income provisional formula. And you're probably thinking, well, I have muni bonds and I don't have to pay taxes on the interest. That is true for most of you. But Social Security has figured a way to take the interest you're earning and put it into the formula. So if you're married filing jointly and your income is over $44,000, which is easy to do with a couple in a house, you have both Social Securities, you might even have a pension, you have cash rents maybe from real estate, you have dividend income, you might have an annuity. It's easy to get to $44,000. If you do, up to 85% of your Social Security is taxable. And let me just finish this part. If that is the case, I'm doing simple numbers. There's actually a real math equation we can do for you in our office. But for simple numbers, let's say you collect $10,000 in Social Security. Multiply that by 85%. That's $8,500. You know that little tax form, that 1040 form that you file every year? You put it right there on that front page of that tax form. $8,500 of your Social Security is now taxable. And at your highest marginal tax rate that you land in, you can read that in your Social Security statement when you get it. So I have yet to meet anybody that they're being taxed on 85%, but I've seen 80, I've seen 70, I've seen 50. If you're single, I think it's, 32,000, something like that. A lot going on in my head, so I need to be watchful of my numbers. So I hope that helps. This ends our Social Security segment. Lots to think about. We have a Social Security guide on ZenniaWealth.com. Download it for free. You can also schedule an appointment to get our Social Security Maximizer to see where you stand. Okay, any questions, Mike? Is there anything else on Social Security spousal disbursement? No, it's pretty basic. If you were married 10 years and you get divorced, you can collect their benefits. If somebody passes away, you can collect as early as 60, even if you're not married to them, as long as you never were married again. And if you're married and Mr. is age 67 and you're, say, 62 and you're both collecting at the same time, you can take 35% of his benefit. The longer you delay, the higher percentage you get. So by the time you hit full retirement age, somewhere around 66, 67, they give you full 50% of your spouse's benefit. So that's basically, it's as simple as that, but I can say it probably 10 times and it still gets confusing. So I'd love to have a one-on-one conversation with you on that if you would like. Oh, is there any talk about when taxes are going to increase and at what percentage? Well, are we talking about the provisional income taxable amount or marginal tax rates? Right now, if we're talking about this regular marginal tax rates, tax rates just came down recently. We're at the lowest marginal tax rate basically now. And they're saying in 2025, taxes are supposed to expire. And my take on it is it's likely taxes are going to go up. It doesn't matter what president we have, taxes are likely to go up. I don't have a crystal ball. I could be wrong. It'd be lovely if they kept it flat and the same, because that would help people for a time being. So we'll just see what the options are. If we had a market meltdown by then, who's president, there is so much on the line, and what happens with Social Security and how much more money we keep printing. Okay. So there's a lot to consider, and that is a hard one. But when I am forward thinking about the only options for the government, it is if we're printing money to help everybody across the United States, somebody's got to pay the piper, and that's us, and it's going to be taxes. Go back to right after World War II. Look how high the taxes were. I mean, look at the last 50 years of taxes. You can find it online, taxes over the past 50 years. You will see how fortunate we are right now to be where we are at. So I hope that helps, and we'll keep moving. All right, here's our section. We're almost done here. Doing good. So everybody tune in. This is so cool and so important because you might need this. So what is it? It's called the CARES Fund for Coronavirus Relief. This is in Alachua County. So if you're tuning in, you're from Alachua County. If you're somewhere else, call your friends over there. Alachua County has announced it is opening applications, and they're giving $21.1 million to individuals and households, along with $15 million total to businesses for COVID-19 relief. The money is part of the CARES Act fund, which is federally funded. The money is not a stimulus payment, though. It is meant to offset financial hardships caused by COVID-19. Awards will depend and be estimated net loss between March 1st and July 31st. So who can apply? Let's focus on that first. Individuals and businesses, you have to prove with documentation that you experienced financial impact due to loss of income or increased expenses during this pandemic. So individuals and households, the amount received depends on the total economic impact, either through your loss of income or expenses. Businesses, small businesses, I'm reading this because there's a lot here, with up to 25 employees, and medium-sized businesses with up to 50 employees are eligible. Businesses must be headquartered in Alachua County and cannot be an address of the business owner's residence. How to apply? It opens this past Tuesday. It opened at 8 a.m. A business application start Monday, August 10th. So you have some time, but it says, well, this is a long link. It says https://info.alachuacounty.us/2020/CARES-Act. Okay. Can you pop that link up? Do we even have that link, Mike, that we can pop up real quick where people can go back to here and just press pause on this episode? He's going to pop it up, but what you could probably do is just Google CARES Funds Coronavirus Relief Alachua County. That's probably going to be the easiest thing to do. Okay. Did we get it popped up, Mike, or no? Okay, we'll put it in the comment section. Perfect. All right. Okay, lastly, good news story. So calling all artists in Marion County. I'm going to read this. It says, story for any local artist. The Marion Cultural Alliance has put a call out for Florida regional artists. They are looking for artists to paint and embellish life-size horses that will be displayed in Ocala starting this October. So all those horses that we have 52 horses across Ocala. Check this out. The public art project is they're undertaking to celebrate 20 years of Ocala's record-breaking art project and auction, Horse Fever. Okay, 52 horses were painted and put up around Ocala, and they're repainting them. So how fun. I wish I could paint. I can do stick figures, but I don't know if the picture is up. Mike, is the picture up? They're looking for this artist. So come one, come all. If you have any talent, that would be an honor if you could do that and sign it. Very neat. So Ocala always has some great things going on. The downtown historic area, just before all COVID started, they were just getting so creative. Fabulous place, really nice cuisines and restaurants and inside bars, outside bars, and lots of singing and dancing also. So check it out, Ocala downtown one day now, or when things get a little bit back to normal. Okay, I lost my last page here. Hold on, because I have a huge discount deal. And, of course, I'm totally messing up. Here it is. Last one. If you tuned in and stayed on for the discount, I just want to tell you, I'm spotlighting New Smyrna Beach. Has anybody ever been there? Most people skip it. They go to Ormond or Daytona. I love New Smyrna Beach. My father took me there as a kid for years with my brother and sister. And so basically, it's 2 hours from Gainesville, hour and a half from Ocala. And so I'm going to give you some places to go, places I personally visited. But one, I never visited this place. It's called the Sugar Mill Ruins. It's a historic site in New Smyrna Beach with 17 acres, contains ruins of sugar factories. And they were talking about the history of the Seminole Indians and Americans raiding the sugar factory. It's pretty neat. I'm going to go check that out next time. But one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid was go down Flagler Avenue. It's right by the beach. It was so much fun. I would rollerblade. There's restaurants and there's clothing stores, and you can park your boat at the Inlet there, which is a lot of fun. So there's so much to do if you even have a boat. Here's a really neat thing. This is tiring though, so if you have any injuries, you might not want to do this. It's called the Ponce de Leon Inlet, Lighthouse, and Museum. It is a short drive, but it's worth it. And you've seen it in probably a ton of magazines and articles. It's the tallest lighthouse in the United States. I actually didn't know that, but you have to walk all the way up them. So it's a lot of exercise. My kids loved it to death though. Lastly, let's talk about the restaurant to visit when you go there. This was the coolest place. If you tuned in and stayed hanging on this long, this is it. It's called JB's Fish Camp. It's outdoors, it's indoors. They have a dock. You can bring your boat right up. But what I love about it so much is they're famous for their blue crab. I mean, they would put this piece of paper down and dump the blue crab, and you're just making the biggest mess ever. So cool, very affordable. I would go there, and Monday through Friday, they have happy hour from 4 to 6, so that's cool. Oh, and if you bring your fish there and you want them to cook it, they charge you $15, and they give you fries and coleslaw. Actually, I think that's a little expensive. That's what the Florida Keys charges. I would think maybe like $8, but maybe don't bring your fish there. But a nice option if you fish and you go out there. And the local discount of the week is Staples. Staples is telling you can get 50% off office chairs, 20% off filing cabinets, and 15% off bookshelves and more. So that's our discount of the day, and we are done. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget, go to zinniawealth.com. If you want to schedule a 15-minute conference call, there's a little blue link. When you scroll down the first page, schedule it there. Also, you can download the Little Red Book to Retirement, 37 pages. It is a must read. It's absolutely for free. And again, thank you so much. You have till Sunday at midnight to answer all 4 of those trivia questions. If you need a second opinion, you know who to go to. So again, I'm here to educate, inspire, and get you to retirement and beyond. Thanks for tuning in. Live by design and not by default. And we'll see you here next Wednesday at 3:30.
She is a financial planner and advisor.
She's the founder and president of Zinnia Wealth Management. She's also a popular radio show host.
There's a way to have your money in the market and have protected growth.
This holistic approach will help people get to and through retirement.
Absolutely.
You have to change the way that you think. It's not about having these double-digit returns anymore. Things are changing, and you have to have an advisor that's keeping up with the changes.
Your outcome is going to become very desirable if you have some sort of coach helping you along the way.
And our next recipient from the Media and Communications Expo, Charisse.
Charisse Rivers.
Do not have to risk all your money in the market to survive, because it's about the retirement dream.